Is it possible for a person to never learn from their errors, regardless of how many close calls they have with being cancelled? Well, if you're James Charles, then the answer is evidently yes. He transitioned from being the inaugural cover boy for CoverGirl, collaborating with Kylie Jenner, and even hosting his own reality show, to shattering a YouTube record for the most subscribers lost in a single day, while facing allegations of being a serial predator who attempted to coerce multiple underage individuals into sharing explicit images with him. I was feeling really uneasy, so I revealed my age, saying I'm 16. Meanwhile, he's 21, he's an adult, so then he responds with, "Oh, but I didn't get to see the, yeah," meaning my body. And if that wasn't already alarming, James has somehow found a way to make matters even worse for himself, solely because he just can't keep quiet. Hi, I'm the Internet Anarchist. I create weekly YouTube documentaries, and today we'll be exploring the satisfying downfall of James Charles, how he reached the pinnacle of the beauty industry by the age of 21, how everything around him crumbled due to his desperation, and how he recently managed to undermine his own comeback. But if you want to stay updated with fresh new videos every week, make sure to hit that subscribe button and let's dive into the video. Saying that James Charles exhibited a talent for thriving in the beauty world would be a colossal understatement, because within a year of launching his YouTube channel and sharing various makeup tips and tutorials on his Instagram, James skyrocketed to fame even before finishing high school. However, what's unexpected is that his rise to fame didn't arise from Instagram or YouTube as one might assume. It was actually through Twitter. As it happened, James had persuaded the photography company responsible for his high school's yearbook photos to redo his senior year picture, leading to this post that exclaimed, "So I retook my senior photos and brought my ring light to ensure my highlight would be popping." I adore being extra. This post ended up racking up over 28,000 retweets and 68,000 likes, along with a shout out from Zendaya herself, who shared the tweet with the caption, "You win." James's viral post was not only game-changing for his career, but for the entire beauty industry, which had been predominantly centered around women prior to this moment, with James's entry into the mainstream. A noticeable shift began taking place, starting with him being selected as the first cover boy for CoverGirl, a significant cosmetics brand, endorsed by stars like Katy Perry and Taylor Swift. In fact, it was Katy Perry who announced it on her Instagram. Writing, "Just wrapped another CoverGirl shoot, thrilled to announce our first ever cover boy, James Charles," which garnered tons of supportive remarks from fans saying, "I already knew this, but I just want to express how proud I am, and oh my god. I love James Charles." That announcement, along with his debut as the first cover boy, launched James into superstardom, with him joining the ranks of elite A-list celebrities associated with the brand, including Taylor Swift, Rihanna, and Katy Perry herself. And to his credit, James didn't waste any time. Leveraging that momentum, he began posting regularly on his YouTube channel, which had surpassed 90,000 subscribers by that point. And the difference in views was instantly noticeable. Almost every video he shared from then received hundreds of thousands of views, with his collaboration videos even hitting millions. However, what really distinguished James from fleeting viral sensations that fade away once the excitement diminishes was his distinct personality. He continued sharing typical makeup tutorials and transformation videos, but his vibrant personality always managed to shine through. He didn't take himself too seriously and wasn't shy to joke around and poke fun at himself on camera. But I aimed to teach everyone a 3-part a cappella arrangement of a song that I knew called "Bring Me Little Water Sylvie." I find this humorous and quite cringeworthy, but looking back at it several years later is truly hilarious to me. This led people to recognize him not just as an exceptional makeup artist, but as an all-around entertaining personality. By 2018, James had easily surpassed the 1 million subscriber mark on his YouTube channel, while his collaborations with high-profile celebrities such as Kim Kardashian and Colleen Ballinger went viral without fail. However, it was in 2019 when James reached the pinnacle of his online career, largely due to the emergence of one of the most cherished creator groups on YouTube, the Sister Squad, formed in 2018. The Sister Squad united James with Emma Chamberlain and the twin brothers Ethan and Grayson Dolan, and the group produced several collaborations, including mukbang videos. Guys, we've got all this food, should we dive in for the muck? Yeah, it's muck, that's M-U. See? Bang bang. Get that dirty hand away from me. I don't want to risk pink eye again. Wait, what are we talking about? 1, 2, 3, buying each other's outfits and James doing all their makeup. These ongoing collaborations significantly influenced all their individual channels as well, including James. which evolved from garnering just a few million views to comfortably exceeding the 10 million mark. This even opened doors for him to collaborate with some of the leading beauty icons globally like Kylie Jenner. However, the most notable of these new partnerships were his videos with Tati Westbrook, who not only boosted his channel but also nurtured a mentor-student dynamic with him, primarily focused on guiding him through the challenges of internet fame. This remarkable growth in James's career culminated in a successful Met Gala debut in 2019 that can undoubtedly be regarded as the pinnacle of his career, yet just as James seemed invincible, he was struck by allegations that would haunt him for the remainder of his career. It all began when James candidly admitted that he had a preference for straight men, which raised numerous eyebrows. My guy who is straight, love that for you. That's simple, it's easier than you'd imagine. This video ultimately became the first major element contributing to his decline, especially after fans chose to circulate this picture of James at Coachella on Twitter with the caption reading "New boyfriend?" At James Charles, the individual standing next to James in this image was Gage Gomez, a straight Instagram model who had been romantically linked to James on and off for the previous 5 months leading up to Coachella, but clearly, things wrapped up right after that photo was clicked because James replied to the tweet saying, "Nope, unfortunately, I remain very single." This guy played me for months on end and is a vile con artist. I'm relieved I had my friends with me to shield me. That tweet would turn out to be a severe misstep on James's behalf, because shortly after Gage retaliated with a video alleging that James had pressured him into meeting up despite being aware of his straight orientation. He then started to apply a little bit of pressure on me to get to know me without truly considering the fact that I told him I was straight. Because as you all are aware, this individual 99.9, maybe even 100% of the time, goes after heterosexual men. And at this point, James would make yet another error, something that evolved into a recurring pattern in how he handled controversies. He opted to respond with a massive Notes app-style tweet, attempting to refute all of Gage's allegations. And although the internet backed him at that time, and the entire narrative was quickly forgotten, it would lay the groundwork for James's entire downfall. And the next domino to topple was his mentor, Tati Westbrook, who concluded dropping an internet-shattering video titled "Bye Sister," in which she accused him of attempting to coerce another straight guy into engaging with him. Oh my goodness. You once again attempted to deceive a heterosexual man into believing he was gay, and somehow, you're the one playing the victim. As she recounted, during her birthday dinner, James had flirted with their waiter, fully aware that he was straight, and then you proceeded to discuss in detail the things you desired to do with the waiter. When I pointed out that James was straight, your comeback was that it didn't matter because you're a celebrity. Shortly after, the video gained traction, and screenshots of James's messages with the waiter surfaced online. This led the waiter, Sam Cooke, to share his own video where he revealed he was bi-curious at the time and ended up kissing James for an hour. He invited me to his hotel that night, and I was feeling bi-curious. I had never been with a guy before, so I was curious. When I arrived at the hotel, we greeted each other, and everything was fine. We ended up watching a movie together. After the film, he asked if he could kiss me, and I was really nervous because it was my first experience with a guy, but since I was bi-curious, I said yes. We ended up making out for about an hour, but afterward, Sam determined that he wasn't interested anymore. He told James he wouldn't be seeing him again. Yet James didn't respect that and reached out a few weeks later. This time, he offered to fly Sam all the way to LA, which understandably alarmed Sam, who informed James that he was straight and turned down the offer. The thought of flying me out to LA really unnerved me because by that time, I was fairly certain I was straight. So, I sent him a long message stating that I am straight and that if he were to fly me out, it wouldn't feel right. However, James dismissed my rejection yet again and continued to pressure Sam, insisting that he believed I was bisexual or gay and had an attraction to him when I explained otherwise. This narrative was already damaging enough on its own, but when Tati broadcasted it to her entire audience, it ignited a massive backlash against James, resulting in him losing over 3 million followers. Within just a week, he shattered the record for the most YouTube subscribers lost in a single day at 1.26 million. Yet this record was just the beginning of James's difficulties. Several months after Tati's video went live, he managed to reclaim 2 million of his lost subscribers by releasing a calm and calculated response video titled "No More Lies." In this video, James addressed Tati's allegations point by point, challenging the lack of evidence for each claim. While also presenting his own evidence in the form of incriminating screenshots, he exposed Jeffree Star, another prominent figure in the beauty influencer realm, revealing Jeffree as the one orchestrating the smear campaign against him alongside Tati concerning the manipulation allegations involving waiter Sam Cooke. James successfully cleared his name. He shared screenshots demonstrating that Sam had misrepresented his intentions during their conversations, exonerating him of any wrongdoing. This subsequently shifted the focus back onto Tati, who ultimately crumbled under the pressure, significantly damaging her own career, while James received a fresh start. With the added exposure from the entire situation, he managed to triple his overall views throughout the following year. He was poised for even more growth, yet despite enjoying a period of resurgence and regaining most of his lost audience, drama was never far away as soon as 2021 arrived. It began with a troubling interview on Logan Paul's Impulsive podcast, where he made a shocking statement that would haunt him for the rest of his career. "I'm not physically attracted to older guys, which is unfortunate. I would date someone who's like the absolute youngest, like 18 or 19, or someone around 24, but has a youthful personality." Soon after, numerous commenters pointed out how poorly this statement aged, especially since just 1 month later in February 2021, where he made a jaw-dropping confession that would haunt him throughout his career. "I'm not attracted to older guys," which is unfortunate because I would go for someone really young, like 18 or 19, who seems a bit older, or around 24 with a youthful vibe. Okay? And numerous commenters noted how this statement aged poorly, considering that just 1 month later, in February of 2021, James found himself facing backlash once more, this time from a 16-year-old TikTok star named Isaiah, who took to the platform to share his experience. He detailed how James allegedly tried to make advances towards him through Snapchat, mentioning that last Wednesday, on the 17th, James Charles sent him a message on Snapchat. James accepted Isaiah's friend request, and excited to hear from someone he had always admired, Isaiah eagerly opened the notification from him. For further verification, Isaiah noted that James deleted the chat, which raised eyebrows. However, this screenshot shows him opening James's Snapchat. After entering the bathroom, Isaiah felt the spotlight shift as James began steering the conversation towards sexual topics, making Isaiah increasingly uncomfortable. As the conversation heated up, James began requesting inappropriate pictures from Isaiah, and he promised to share some of what James sent him. The images are hard to see, as they're blurry because Isaiah snapped them on his iPad to avoid letting James catch him screenshotting, but he'll share them shortly. When Isaiah hesitated, James wasted no time sending explicit pictures of himself, starting with one of his body, followed by several more, which left Isaiah feeling very uneasy. In an attempt to deter James, Isaiah mentioned his age, stressing that he was just 16, while James was 21, a fully grown adult. In response to this, James remarked he hadn't had the chance to see Isaiah's body, using this comment to pressure him into reciprocating. After Isaiah firmly declined to send any photos, James persisted, asking for images that showcased his body hair and flexing, seemingly ignoring Isaiah's stated age. If Isaiah's recounting holds true, it clearly indicates James was acutely aware of his age, yet chose to overlook it, continuously pressuring Isaiah for more images. Contrary to the previous Tati scandal, these latest allegations bore significantly greater weight, bolstered by Isaiah's screenshots that supported his claims. However, James, who had recently dispelled Tati's failed attempt to cancel him, resorted to the same tactic, posting yet another lengthy Notes app-style tweet responding to the new allegations. He began by asserting the situation was a misunderstanding, admitting that he did add Isaiah on Snapchat but claiming he asked about his age immediately afterward. To this, Isaiah supposedly replied affirmatively that he was 18, yet once it came to light that he was genuinely 16, James allegedly ceased flirting and apologized before unfriending him. Shortly after James's tweet, Isaiah posted a response countering this narrative, stating, "We both know I blocked you. You never asked for my age. After I informed you I was 16, you went ahead and requested nudes." Isaiah continued, saying James had called him attractive and remarked, "I wish the timeline could speed up so you can be 18. The catch in both narratives is that there's no clear way to uncover the truth, given that their conversations transpired solely on Snapchat. This lack of tangible evidence means we can't establish a definitive timeline over the exchange, leaving uncertainty over whether Isaiah's screenshots came before or after revealing his age to James. When putting it into that perspective, James's argument seemed more plausible. As a major celebrity, he stood to lose much from the scandal, making it unlikely he would deliberately embroil himself in such a controversy. James made this clear in his tweet as well when he stated, "I would never knowingly engage with anyone underage and risk my life for a few Snapchats." Yet, while internet users may have leaned in James's favor at that moment, the tide shifted dramatically as more influencers began stepping forward, accusing James of coercing them into sending inappropriate photos. So here we go. November 7th, 2024. And the age question comes up innocent enough, you might think. But it took a weird turn. I responded by claiming I was a very mature 16. But then he snapped me, and we continued to chat for a while. James practically confirmed this himself in that same tweet, declaring I would never intentionally involve myself with anyone underage and risk my life for a few Snapchats. Yet, while the public was ready to take James at his word at this juncture, perceptions would shift dramatically as this scenario began reappearing repeatedly, with more influencers coming forward, accusing James of attempting to pressure them into sharing explicit images. So let's dive in. November 7th, 2021 age check. You might think it's innocent. He's just inquiring about my age. And I replied, saying I'm a very mature 16, but then he proceeded to send me snaps, and we exchanged them for a while. We didn't really chat much or anything, but then one day, I received this snap. It was November 24th, 2020. James Charles. I'm not sure if this was the exact snap. I don't have any screenshots from my snaps, but when I opened it up, I swear it was a full-on picture. The claims got so serious that Keemstar even released a video in which he urged the police to apprehend James for his actions. James Charles, I am completely over him. Seriously, I'm about to unleash on him today. He deserves to be locked away, alright? It was at this moment that James started facing some real consequences for what he had done. Not long after, he was taken out of YouTube's partner program, removed as the brand ambassador for the makeup line Morphe, and even got booted from the reality show Instant Influencer, which was initially centered around him. With everything crumbling around him, James did what every creator does. When caught, he uploaded a insincere, half-hearted apology video. Today's video is going to be heartfelt, and I'm going to discuss what transpired, the conclusions I've drawn, and most importantly, taking responsibility for my actions. First and foremost, I need to extend my apologies. I owe a huge apology to anyone I've hurt or anyone who felt uncomfortable because of my actions. I also want to apologize to my friends, family, and fans who have to endure yet another one of these videos, as they shouldn't have to. This is truly, really embarrassing. In the first few minutes, it became clear that this was crafted to make him appear more morally upright than genuinely remorseful. But before that, I want to clarify that I completely understand my actions and how wrong they were. There's no justification for them, and I won't be making any excuses in this video either. I hope you choose to watch until the end. Then came the real reason for James creating this video seeking sympathy. By attributing all his behavior to his desperation. I struggled to understand why relationships were the outlier and why they weren't working. This area of my life was so different, and I finally arrived at a conclusion. It's painful and incredibly embarrassing to admit, but I think I have to. I'm desperate. Unfortunately for him, nobody was buying the sob story. Most viewers found the entire thing tedious and fake. By the end of the video, James announced he would be taking a break from YouTube to reflect on his actions. I'm going to take some time away to reflect and further educate myself on these subjects. I believe it's crucial that I do so I can honor my word and show you all that I'll be a better person. The one moment in the video that felt somewhat genuine was when he vowed not to forget his mistakes. I hope that my intentions aren't to just press post and move on, as if nothing happened because something significant did take place, and what happened was unacceptable. I don't want to simply brush it aside. However, even then, the majority of his fan base flat out rejected his apology. It didn't help that he took a 90-day break following this video, hoping the uproar would quiet down before his return. As a result of all this, James went from comfortably surpassing 10 million views on his videos to desperately trying to reach the 4 million view mark. Despite the view drop, he remained steady with his upload schedule upon his return, which led to some of his audience gradually coming back. However, his comeback was short-lived after James got embroiled in another controversy just this year, one that obliterated what was left of his reputation. It all began on April 2nd, 2025, when influencer Kayla Malik released a two-part video series on her channel titled He Doesn't Love You, Parts 1 and 2. In these videos, Kayla opened up about months of emotional and physical abuse. He Doesn't Love You Part 1 and 2. In those videos, Kayla revealed months of emotional and physical torment from her former boyfriend, Evan Johnson, and shortly after, Evan was actually taken into custody due to the evidence she provided. Then on May 7th, he was convicted of domestic assault against Kayla. Initially, James entered this drama when Zach Sellers, another influencer and one of Evan's past friends, mentioned him. Zach accused James of maintaining a close relationship with Evan even after all the revelations. And even more shockingly, he claimed that James had been guiding Evan throughout the entire ordeal. Evan was on FaceTime when everything suddenly went silent, and I could hear James's voice, and it just became eerie. They were conversing while I opened the door to get in the car, you know, and once I closed the door, James said, "Oh, I'll let you guys go if you're with friends." He definitely told them to call him later, so they could discuss this more. Then Evan responded, "No, we can wrap things up a little. We don't really have anything wild planned. We're just heading downtown to hang out and take some Snapchats." Then James interjected, "Do you trust him, Evan?" And at that moment, Evan confidently replied, "Absolutely." Zach even claimed that James was aiding Evan in downplaying the abuse. Kayla started referring to it as lies, and then James came back to Evan asserting, "Well, you didn't lose anything, Evan. If anything, you won. You escaped the psycho she is. You're not the issue. She is the problem. She has a reputation for being a troublemaker. She's known to fabricate completely false stories, just for attention and views." James attempted to clarify things with a TikTok, stating that he had only been friends with Evan for a brief period, and he entirely condemned what Evan did to Kayla. "I do not support Evan Johnson in any way, shape, or form. Let me make that absolutely clear. I don't support him, I don't support violence against women, and I certainly do not endorse the disgusting, reprehensible, violent actions that he committed against Kayla and Alec behind closed doors." However, the timing felt fishy, considering that video was posted on the 8th of May, just a day after Evan received his sentence, and given James's past, very few trusted him to be on the right side of this situation. Luckily, he couldn't escape this time, because Kayla herself intervened, revealing 3 TikToks lasting 10 minutes each, providing solid evidence that James had been involved with Evan, while the investigation was still in motion. Kayla commenced by showing proof that James had been into Evan long before their breakup. On December 17th, I uploaded a video of us in Hawaii together, and James, once again, our only DMs were him once again saying, "Oh my god, he's so beautiful." And it all began with him texting Evan privately by sending flirty messages while Kayla and Evan were still together. Evan started mentioning that James was DMing him on Instagram, and I immediately reacted, "What the hell are you doing? Why are you reaching out to James?" I was like, "No way, that's really weird in my opinion," and at that point our relationship was pretty much over. Even Brennan and Emma were both like, "What the hell, why are you DMing him on Instagram?" We then glanced at the phone, and Evan sent James a picture on Instagram, as if you were snapping on Snapchat, exchanging photos back and forth. Evan suggested to James, "You should come to Hawaii with us." James responded with, "Why should I join you in Hawaii?" And that's when it hit me for the first time, what the heck? But the real bomb dropped when Kayla leaked James's response to finding out they had broken up. "So yeah, do you want to be featured in a painted video with your man?" I explained that we had split and I was planning a 30-part series. What the heck? But the moment that truly painted James in a terrible light was when Kayla released his reaction upon learning they had broken up. "So, would you like to be featured in a painted video with your guy?" I clarified that we had split, and I was planning a 30-part series. And keep in mind, he was the only individual I confided in because this was just a day after our official split. He's the sole person I shared the quote with. A 30-part series I had planned to film about my experiences. And he responds with, "What?" I go, "Girl, he's absolutely out of his mind." And after that, what unfolded? "Can I have him now?" The messages displayed a shocking lack of empathy. Even after Kayla alerted him to Evan's instability, something the viewers picked up on as well, it's clear he disrespects women. And no, James was aware they had ended things, he only reached out to confirm the details of this entire situation. This also became the final straw because since Kayla exposed him, his numbers have plummeted, going from 2 to 4 million views per video to struggling to reach 1 million. And at this point, it genuinely seems like James is facing real repercussions for his actions. If he had stayed silent and not felt the urge to respond each time, most of the allegations against him would likely have faded away and people would have slowly forgotten about them. Even this recent situation involving Kayla Malik would have probably been brushed aside if James hadn't issued a response. A video denouncing Evan, suggesting it appears he has exhausted all his comebacks, especially now that he's been identified as the associate of a convicted abuser. Another YouTuber facing